So I wanted to continue on with our question and answers, and this is a actual follow-up to question number 4 of should you pay on real searches? Should you reward your dog on a real search? And I'll first start off saying there is, of course, no 100% rule for everything. With that said, there are various detection disciplines, various safety concerns, and other circumstances such as numerous fines in one area where rewarding on every alert or rewarding on alerts is not a desired thing to do. But more recently, it was brought to my attention about an article that was written, and the author's point of view on the article was dogs' noses and dogs' minds are amazing things. And the world of odor that they deal with has all kinds of various different chemicals and conditions may be related to target odor. And that the risk that comes from rewarding on real searches could mean you may inadvertently reward your dog for a non-target odor. So, first question I have is, how do you know? If your training is well-rounded, and the author states that they do the double blind, they do ORTs, they do single blind, they push their training, but yet they still fear the possibility of rewarding on non-target odor. So again, that first question is, how do you know? Because if your training is sound and well-rounded, the only reason why your dog should have alerted was because of the target odor being present. Because just like you can't or you don't want to reward because you don't know, you also don't know that the dog alerted to something non-target. But let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just say that dog maybe did alert to something non-target. That one time is not the end of the world. But again, the author's premise is if you reinforced your dog and that power of that reinforcer was so strong that that one time caused a potential problem, they did not want to waste their valuable training time on working on a problem that they inadvertently created because they didn't know 100% that the dog alerted to target odor and that it may have alerted to a non-target odor. I'll say this, my training is never wasted. I don't ever view training I do as a waste. Every bit of my training is calculated. I have a plan, I have goals, and I have objectives to my training. And if for some reason, somehow, some way, and I knew that I reinforced my dog potentially on a non-target odor, all I do is address that in my training, in my fundamentals, which I never drop. Working on my fundamentals, working on my ORTs, or my working on distracting odors, or things like that is never wasted. Oh, but you're adding one more to the laundry list of odors. That's reality. And just like we all understand when it comes to odors, there are lots of other variables in play. And our job in training is to address those variables. So again, my training is not wasted. And just like the author says, the dog's mind is an amazing thing. Its nose is an amazing thing. What I'm more fearful of is creating a dog who does not value the real searches. The real searches is my main mission. I don't want to do something that devalues real searches because the average, let's say, drug dog handler working a street, they may have 3 or 4 searches in one night. And that if the ratio of reinforcement on real searches is extremely low or to none, I am devaluing the most important aspect of what that dog is designed to do. I don't ever want to devalue that. I want that to be the most important thing because that is why I'm there, which is why my training is so solid and why I make sure my training is well-rounded, because I know I have to be ready for those real searches. And I don't want my dog to have the mindset or the view that real searches just don't get reinforcement. So my fear is that if we keep not doing some form of reinforcement on real searches have little value to the dogs or minimal value to the dogs. So again, I am going to have well-rounded training with goals, a plan, and an objective. I know dogs aren't perfect. We all know humans aren't perfect. But I can address those imperfections in my training. So that way on a real search, if my dog tells me there's odor there, I believe it, and I'm going to reinforce that. Now, that reinforcement may be a condition reinforcer followed by praise. It might be the condition reinforcer followed by high value. My situation will dictate. But what my dog will know is that reinforcement is strong in real searches, just like it's strong in training. I don't ever want to compromise my real searches. And I don't ever feel my training time is wasted, especially if I follow those rules of goals, objectives, and benchmarks that I want to have in my training. So I hope that helps, and I hope that answers that question.